Brace yourselves for the chilling tale of the Antarctica skydiving disaster of 1997. 6 audacious adventurers dared to defy the icy expanse of Antarctica, led by the fearless Michael Kearns from Burke, Virginia. Their goal? To etch their names in history by achieving the first-ever 4-way skydiver and tandem jump over the South Pole. Despite the staggering cost of $22,000 per person, the lure of glory was irresistible. But their quest for triumph would soon spiral into a harrowing saga of disaster, leaving behind a legacy that continues to echo through the ages. Let's unravel this gripping story together. The plan was meticulous, the stakes high, but the unforgiving Antarctic environment and a fatal error during the freefall turned their dream into a disaster. The mystery of why the parachutes failed to deploy properly still lingers, shrouded in theories of equipment failure. As I unravel this tragic tale, feel free to share your own thoughts on this unfortunate event. In 1997, a team of 6 brave souls embarked on a daring mission. Their goal was audacious, to be the first to skydive in Antarctica. The expedition was orchestrated by Adventure Network International, a pioneer in Antarctic tours since 1988. At the helm was the seasoned Air Force Captain Michael Kearns, leading the team into the unknown. Joining Kearns was Steve Mulholland, the trip organizer for Adventure Network International. His role was pivotal, coordinating the logistics and preparing the team for the unique challenges of skydiving in the harsh Antarctic conditions. Mulholland was also a member of the Base Jumpers, a group of daredevils who leap off buildings, antennas, spans, and Earth. This form of jumping is considered more perilous than skydiving due to the short freefall time and the need for instant parachute deployment. The team was a diverse mix of adventurers: Ray Miller, a family man with North Pole skydiving experience, and Hans Razak, a bold Austrian adventurer, aimed to be part of the first 4-way skydive. Norwegians Trond Jacobsen and Morten Halvorsen, seasoned skydivers, planned to make history with the first tandem skydive at the South Pole. Their calm, methodical approach to the sport brought a level of professionalism to the group, complementing the dynamic spirit of their fellow jumpers. Despite being strangers before the expedition, the group quickly bonded over shared stories and a deep passion for skydiving. This camaraderie was crucial in building trust and morale, elements vital for their challenging jumps. They established their base camp at Patriot Hills, a launch pad for many daring Antarctic expeditions. Nestled amidst the ethereal beauty of icy landscapes and distant mountains, the camp was a surreal setting for the team's intense preparations. Days blurred into nights as they were consumed by equipment checks, strategy discussions, and weather monitoring. Each member was equipped with an altimeter, a critical instrument that indicates altitude. They were reminded to break off from the 4-way formation at 4,000 FT to avoid entanglements. Fearful of the freezing conditions, they wore multiple layers. Michael, for example, wore 3 sets of gloves. Their jump was facilitated by a Twin Otter aircraft, known for its excellent performance in extreme conditions. As the team prepared to board the Twin Otter aircraft, they posed for a group shot, a memento of their shared anticipation and camaraderie. As the plane ascended, Michael noticed Steve, Ray, and Hans hadn't taken the supplementary oxygen. They were already at 9,186 feet above sea level, and as the plane climbed higher, the thin air posed a significant risk of hypoxia. Over the landing site, the divers huddled near the rear hatch. Steve leaned out into the icy air, giving the signal to jump. The plane slowed, and Ray was the first to leap, his camera ready to capture the team's descent. Hans and Michael followed, with Steve bringing up the rear. As they plummeted through the thin, bitterly cold air at 200 MPa, the thrill was palpable. Michael, his body angled sharply downward, drew closer to Ray and Hans with each passing second. Suddenly, Michael's altimeter flashed a critical warning: red zone. He was dangerously close to the ground, just 1,000 feet above the icy surface. Panic set in, and he frantically signaled Ray and Hans to break formation. But they continued their descent, eerily calm. Michael broke away from the group, his reserve parachute deploying automatically thanks to his automatic activation device, as well as AAD. He was much lower than the planned deployment altitude of 3,500 feet. With no time for a controlled landing, he braced for impact, crash landing hard in the snow. The rough landing wrenched his spine, marking a dramatic end to their record-setting attempt. The snow around them was a chilling tableau of red, their bodies positioned as if frozen mid-skydive. The impact had driven them at least 3 meters deep into the snow. The stark reality hit. They were no more. This was the tragic finale to what was supposed to be a record-setting adventure. Officials dubbed it the second worst civilian parachuting accident in history, the first being in 1967 when 16 skydivers plunged to their deaths in Lake Erie. As we delve into the investigation's findings, remember to subscribe for more true story videos. The questions were numerous. Were they too engrossed in the thrill, oblivious due to hypoxia, or simply unable to react? The demanding four-way formation might have overwhelmed them. Or perhaps they were so intent on achieving physical contact that they overlooked their altimeters. The thin air at such high altitudes could have hastened their fall, disrupting their timing. This was further exacerbated by the complete whiteout conditions that disoriented Michael and likely the others as well. A worldwide investigation was launched, involving experts from various fields. They concluded that the parachutes were not to blame. Instead, the focus shifted to environmental challenges and human error, particularly under the extreme conditions unique to Antarctica. Hypoxia, or oxygen deprivation, was identified as a critical factor. This condition was intensified by the high altitude and unusually thin air, which not only diminished oxygen levels, but also allowed the skydivers to fall faster than they might have expected. This swift descent likely led to the skydivers not checking their altimeters frequently enough, resulting in a delayed parachute deployment. In the aftermath of the tragic skydiving accident, the survivors, Trond, Morton, and Michael, emphasized the importance of using supplemental oxygen. Their preparedness was in stark contrast to their companions, who chose not to use the provided oxygen, leading to severe effects of hypoxia and impairing their ability to respond effectively. Michael, the lone survivor from the four-way jump, recounted the harrowing moments before the crash. He noted that the thin air and rapid descent contributed to the confusion during the critical moments. His testimony highlighted the life-saving role of the automatic activation device fitted in his gear. This device deployed his reserve parachute when he was unable to do so manually in time, likely saving his life. The investigation into the accident led to stricter regulations for high-altitude skydives, especially in polar regions. These new guidelines mandate the use of supplemental oxygen and enhanced altitude monitoring throughout the dive. While I'm not a skydiver, I concur with the investigation's findings. The skydivers were intensely focused on completing their four-way formation, so close to setting a world record, they lost track of their rapid descent. The allure of achieving this milestone likely overshadowed their situational awareness. Michael realized the danger when he saw that the altimeter was deep into the red zone. He urgently signaled the others to break the formation and deploy their parachutes. In doing so, his AAD, automatic activation device, deployed his reserve chute, which ultimately saved his life. Steve must have sensed the danger slightly sooner than Ray and Hans, as his partially seen canopy indicated a late deployment. Unfortunately, it was too late to avert the tragedy. Ray and Hans, found with their arms outstretched as if still attempting to complete the formation, died on impact. This tragic event has sparked a wider conversation within the skydiving community about the crucial importance of rigorous safety measures and the need for heightened vigilance, even among the most experienced skydivers. Reflecting on the incident, Michael expressed in a post-investigation interview, "We were aware of the risks, but we never thought it would happen to us. We discussed our plans and checked our gear, but it wasn't enough that day. Our luck just ran out. Until next time, stay safe."